I'm a resident for 21 years. I have a question for both of the candidates. Actually, Steve said it well.
Hi, Mike Richards. I live here in town for 21 years. Crossroads, the Sheridan Crossroads property. That's my pet peeve. People are going to vote in a non-binding referendum. That's the will of the people. I want to know where each one of you stand if the majority vote says we do not want a mall in Mahwah. Steve says that he's going to support the results of the non-binding referendum, would vote accordingly based on those results. What does Lisa feel and what does John feel? Are you going to back the people up if the majority says no mall? Lisa first.
I've been against it from the beginning, whichever way it goes. I work for the people, not the developer. I will abide by whatever the people vote on November 8th about the mall.
I think I've answered this at almost every event. If 50.1% of the people vote against it, I will support the people. As, for example, back in 2001, there was a referendum on a recreational facility up at the corner of Airmont and Airmont. I was one of the strongest proponents for that construction of that recreational facility for the children. Okay? That went down. From the day that that vote went down, you never heard it ever brought up from me again, or any suggestion of reintroducing it, because the voters spoke. And I expect the same thing of other people too, that if it passes, then are you going to accept it, Mr. Richards?
Yes, actually,
Okay,
I will make that recommendation. I am part of a group, and yes, absolutely will make that recommendation because that's the will of the people. But one thing, John, you are on the planning board.
Yes.
Okay? So if it's 50.5%, you have the power, based on the declaratory judgment that's going to be handed down by a superior court judge,
Right.
that you could reject the application of the developer.
Right.
Because time of submission, he rushed his application, reject it, and have the developer sue the township. And that would be backing up that 50.5%.
Right. If the declaratory judgment comes out, absolutely.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good luck to all the people.
Next question.
I'm not a resident of Mahwah. I am a resident of Wyckoff, but I do have, Lisa, you hit an issue that is very upsetting to me, and that's the mentality that thinks grants are a free ride. We, the people, pay for the grants. And I bring this up to every freeholder meeting. There are many programs that have been instituted with grants. What do you propose to do to those programs when the grant money dries up? Because there is no doubt about it. The country is broke, New Jersey is broke, Bergen County will be broke, and the grants have started programs with the best of intentions. What will you do with those programs once there is no grant money?
I don't think we have any program right now that's run by grant, other than DARE might be on a grant, and that's gotten by the police department. The grant that I'm involved with, CBG grant, that's a federal grant that comes down through the county that supports people like the West Bergen Mental Health, affordable housing for them, and for people who are physically and mentally challenged. The food bank. These are monies they put in a request for the grants, and that's the way the grants are. If that dries up, they'll be in a lot of trouble. We basically I don't think we have anything that really supports grants right now.
Access transportation is funded by grants, and that's how we do our senior citizen busing. That's all done by CBGB grants. We also do our road programs with grant money. A portion of it every year, or anywhere from $150,000 to $300,000 a year, are usually done in our road programs. But mainly for like Airmont, Ridge Road, MacArthur Boulevard, main thoroughfares. So
I am aware of that because I go to freeholder meetings and listen to all this grant money being spent. My question is, will you allow these programs to just die, and what will happen to the people who are dependent on them?
access transportation, I think, would be a horrible thing to let die.
But what will you do to maintain it?
I don't know if I have an answer for that tonight. It hasn't died yet, and if it does, I may have to get extremely creative. And whether that goes out to reaching out and trying to find if I could fundraise for it might be a possibility. I mean, it's not a lot of money that we use. It's about, I think, $80,000 a year.
Well, they give us we purchase the
Right.
van for $1. That's their grant to us.
Right.
They don't supply the driver or anything, but we
Right.
purchase it through cooperative, but the county supplies the van at $1 to use the van, but they supply it for us. So that's part of their grant. I know, but if it dries up, I think we'd have to work very hard, the seniors need transportation.
Right.
They'd be homebound if we didn't give them that transportation.
It's something you're going to have to address, I'm afraid.
There are a lot of things we're gonna have to address that are drying up.
We've had $2.2 or $2.4 million worth of state aid dry up in the last 3 years. And we've had to absorb that. And yet, that's why we're forced to cut our spending by, really every little nickel dime that we could find to try to make ends meet.
I saw that hand first, so.
Patty Jalal, I live and work here in town, and I'm hearing that our town employees, our part-time employees, have benefits. How do you feel about that? And, do you feel it's fair when in most corporations and in jobs, if you work part-time, you don't get benefits?
Could you address the question too?
John and Lisa, please.
Elected officials in the township of Mahwah for the last 34 years have, as part of our compensation, been offered health benefits. Okay? It's offered to myself, and I think Mrs. DiGiulio also. I have used the benefits since I've been a councilman. I probably work more than 25 hours a week for the municipality as the mayor right now. And I would be continuing that unless the council decides that we would like to, abolish it. If you want to abolish it, I would do whatever I have to do.
Same for me, I'm on it. I think being a council person, you're not just part-time. It's really, to me, a full-time job. You're available 24/7 to the people of Mahwah.
But it's not only you, I'm hearing it's other part-time employees.
No part-time employees.
There's
I
actually
don't
one
believe-
part-time employee, and she has had health benefits for 20-something years. And it was done by a previous administration a long, long time ago. But there was no other part-time employee in the township of Mahwah that has health benefits.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
You mind? Thank you. This idea about benefits to council people, first of all, when I decided to run, I didn't even know they got benefits. I had no clue. And that's not the reason why I'm running. Whether I decide to take it or not, that's a different story if I get elected. But this issue was raised by a candidate for mayor who's not here today to defend himself. And I don't want to say why or why not he's doing it. But when I looked at the issue, and I looked at the amount of council people that are taking the benefits, if we eliminated that, I can guarantee you it wouldn't bring back garbage pickup for a second day, the money that we're saving. Guarantee you that. Now, 21% of your taxes go to the municipal government. 61% of your taxes get paid by the school board. If you really want to make an impact to the taxpayers of this town and bring up benefits as an issue, that should be in front of the school board and ask them to better negotiate with the teachers. And I'm not saying eliminate this, but right now, think about this. Right now, and in the past it was free, 1.5% of their salary goes to their family benefits. That's their contribution. If the average teacher's salary is $50,000, do the math real quick. 1.5%, $750 they pay towards family benefits a year. That comes out of your taxes, and my taxes, and their taxes. So if we really want to make a difference in the tax bill, in that check that you write every 3 months, that's where that argument is. Not at the municipal level. But if indeed the council decides to eliminate it, we'll save a little bit of money. But when it's not going to make a tremendous impact to your tax bill. Thank you.
Cost of benefits is $16,795 for a family, of which I think I pay in somewhere around $1,500 a year or $1,300 a year. It's somewhere around there towards that, and that's done by, by statute. Within the next 4 years, you're going to see a mandate from the state. It's there now. It'll catch up to it. But the employees will be contributing 25% of the premium towards health benefits. That was the important part of only having a 2-year contract for this round, was because they wanted a 4-year contract, and I would only go to 2 years. So, which, by the way, Mrs. DeGiulio was also the deciding vote on the 2.5% increase that was done 6 months in, which is 1.25% per year.
I'm going to rebut this. You keep saying that. We vote alphabetically, and I'm not deciding vote. And the reason I voted no the first time on the surplus was simply because Mayor Martell had a 0 budget. All unions were 0 increase. John negotiated with the police department, gave them 2.5%.
6 months in.
And an extra day off. That trickled to all the unions.
Right.
Now, I gave my vote for that because he said we were getting a new building. The New York Trade was going to put another building out, and we were going to have the ratables. So I trusted him. And I said, if you think so, John, you negotiate. He was afraid that the unions would get, the police union would get a 4-year contract. He didn't want that. I trusted him. And he said, I said, okay, I will vote for that. But we vote alphabetically, so I'm not the last vote on the button. Next thing comes to the surplus. We're dangerously low. Now we have 2.5% out there, and he wants to take more surplus, so you don't see that he gave the 2.5%. I said no. Hang me. That's why I said no.
Number one, the surplus question was before there was any contractual questions, because we hadn't yet had any negotiations. Number two, the New York Stock Exchange has been built for over a year, and this contract negotiation happened in March. So how the New York Stock Exchange would be being built when it was already up and running and paying taxes.
The new building, you said
the
we
new
were
building,
getting a
the
new
new building was up and
John.
running and done. Second of all, the important part of the whole contract negotiation was trying to go from 4 years to 2 years. The contracts that have gone to arbitration right now did get a 0 the first year and 3 2 years. But that would put us at 4-year contracts with a 1.5% contribution of salary towards health benefits. In 2 years, we have a 2% cap as to the max you can negotiate, and they will be mandated to contribute to their health benefits to the tune of 15% in the first year, and then 25% in year 2. So those numbers at $4.4 million for health benefits at 24% add up to over $1 million in income or cost expense, I'm sorry? Savings, yeah. So I thought that the going to 2 years and going to an extra 0.5% 6 months in was a good trade-off for what was going to happen. So, and I happen to applaud Mrs. Julia for supporting me in that. But Eileen brought this up because she has bashed me on it, but she was the deciding vote because it went 4-3 for an affirmative vote. So if she had voted no, that contract would not have happened.
Well, you could say
And
that
if I
about
voted no,
anybody.
if I voted no, 4 police officers, because this is what you said at the
2.
meeting, 4
2.
police officers would have to be laid off.
2.
When it comes to laying off police officers or DPW workers, which is a direct service to the people, I get a little nervous about that. But had we not negotiated 2.5% to the police department and went to arbitration, all the unions would have had 0 unless the arbitrator said differently. So we should have stayed with the 0 that Mayor Martell had, which was no increase.
Mayor, can I say something?